Hi, in this video I'll be demoing a tool we've developed here at Superna for automating the deployment of a typical environment we use. That usually involves a Superna Eyeglass appliance, an ECA appliance, along with Isilons, in this case simulators. The goal is to deploy a complete environment and at the end have them all communicate with each other and thus simplifying the whole setup and reducing a lot of time along the way. So it all begins with this simple web UI we have here. I'm going to deploy an eyeglass deployment. Let's say I want a 7.2 source cluster and a target of 8.1. I'm going to deploy our eyeglass VM and ECA VM. Simply press deploy. Now this, in our case, will be deploying to VMware vCenter. Here the deployment has started. We're running the deployment as a Jenkins job, so Jenkins will be running the framework and doing all the work, the heavy lifting for us. You see it does this in stages, so it sets up the environment, then deploys each appliance, ECA, Eyeglass, and Isilon VMs, and then it will go on to configuring those. So if we take a look here, you see it started. And when you go to your vCenter, under my user in the easy folder, you see I got some folders for ECA, Eyeglass, and Isilon. So they're currently being deployed right now. They're the VMs are being cloned and put into the folders that the user has specified. A really interesting feature we have here is using OCR, we're able to set up the VM on initial boot. So in the case of the Isilon simulators, we have to go through a wizard, set up networking before we can access them over IP. And it's kind of a pain in terms of automation because you can't interact with a VM until you've done this manual procedure generally through the console. So we've automated that, and as you can see here in the Jenkins job, we're deploying the Isilon and we're waiting for certain lines, so waiting for a wizard here. I'll show you in the VMware console. So here's the console, and our code is waiting for the line wizard, so we'll get there in a little bit here. Right, so we had already hit the wizard, that kind of went quickly, but as you can see it's waiting for certain things, waiting for please star root, and then pass in the password, waiting for the admin password line, and then it'll pass in the password on a behalf. Right, would you like to enable support IQ? Yes. The framework we've developed will inject all these inputs for us, and so we don't have to sit there manually configuring all this stuff ourselves. Okay, naming the VM and so on. I will let this run, and we'll come back when it's all finished, when all the VMs are finished deploying and they've all been configured to talk to each other. Alright, now the deployment is complete. As you can see, it says deployed. The Jenkins job succeeded. It did send me an email. So let's take a look at, first let's take a look at the vCenter. My easy folder, in the first deployment, you'll see I have ECA. Was deployed 253 Eyeglass as well, right? Then we have an Isilon 7.2 and an Isilon 8 as we specified in the deployment. Now let's take a look at the Eyeglass appliance. So one thing you'll notice right away is it's already been licensed for us. It's very nice. Take up the inventory view. The Isilon clusters have also automatically been added for us, so that's pretty nice. And so let's start up the managed services, and let's go over to the ECA cluster and bring the cluster up. So for those of you familiar with this, typically you have to put in some settings in the OPT, Superna, ECA, and common. What you'll notice is the framework has done all this stuff for us, so that's really nice. It's added the IPs of the ECA nodes in here for us. The Eyeglass location is set. An Eyeglass API token was created and set for us. And the HDFS route on our Isilon cluster has also been set. So that's really nice. All we really have to do now is do an ECA CTL cluster up. And I'll let that run. Alright, there we go. So the ECA cluster has been brought up now. As you can see, it's starting to report to the Eyeglass appliance. The nodes are reporting some data. So at this point we've got everything set up, and as you can see it was relatively easy, other than filling out a form in the UI specifying what we wanted. And we didn't have to do a whole lot, so that whole procedure we could have been doing other work the whole time. I hope that you got some value out of this, and thank you.